Okay, so today we want to talk about tolerancing features. I've already done an alignment and I've actually taken a few measurements, but it's kind of irrelevant right now. But let's just say I want to measure this hole and I want to tolerance that hole. So I'm going to measure it using a circle routine. And let's just name that circle front right. All right, 4 points. I've already done a circle before, ignore that. If this button is on in our circle subroutine, if that is checked, that will automatically populate a tolerance block after we get done measuring. Okay, let's go down here and measure it. I'm not writing this program to repeat, so I'm not worried about go-tos, but if you were writing it for repetitious checking, you would be sure to use go-tos. Let's come up out the hole. So it automatically populated, or not populated, it popped up a tolerance. So our diameter is 2527. If I'm not mistaken, it is 250 is what I blueprint. You take these figures right off your blueprint. All right, +1, -1. All right, anything that is checked is what's going to show up in your little slider bars, your quick visuals. So X is 2.9364, the blueprint's 2.937. 75, 2 15/16, ±3 looks good. And our Y, 0.5, I know that's supposed to be 0.5625. Again, you take them straight off of the blueprint, +3, -3. And typically, if we put in a positive, this thing defaults to unilateral tolerance. So you would put in once you type in 0.003, the next block is going to be -0.003. As soon as you hit OK, 262527. All right, so it's out of tolerance by one, a little over about 1/1000 and a half, a little more than 1/1000 and a half, because I put a +1, -1, 250. It bored, greened, whatever that hole was done, 1/10 and a half, well, a little more than tolerance. Okay, so that's one way of tolerance. Being that I've already aligned it, I've already got a distance, a line here created and a line here. Let's show you what happens if you don't have a tolerance block in a subroutine. So let's just go measure this line. Now let's measure the back line. I could check this one. I'm not going to because I want to show you a different method. Okay, let's call this the back line. Two points, so I'm going to run back here. Okay, so now you remember how we get distances? That's an angle. Here's a distance between back line and the front one, whatever I left it, whatever the last guy used it, called left island. But anyway, it's the front line. 2 line is over here, 1 and 3. I want to hit OK. So it gives me a 2.505. Suppose I want to tolerance that so I can quickly see if it's right or not. Hit this button, tolerance last element. I want the distance I believe the blueprint says 2.5500, and I believe it's plus or minus 3. I'm not worried about the distance X and the distance Y. I just want the overall distance. So I hit OK. All right, it measured 2.5058 plus or minus 2. It's showing me that it's 3/10 over tolerance, almost 4/10. Almost 4 thousandths over tolerance. So that's another way of tolerancing something that if you don't check that subroutine. So you got two methods. You've got one, let's do another plane. We've got one called top, let's call one shelf. The shelf plane, let's cut on this tolerance. Let's just see what happens here. So the shelf, we've already measured the top. The shelf is down here. Let's go. So I want to get my distance from the top, just like using a depth mic. Okay, so then it pops up. Oh man, it's gonna be a little tough for me to see way over there. I don't want my X, I don't want my Y. I don't care for angles. These are angles. Distance. Let's slide this out of the way. So it's 29449. What was the print? The print was 300. I remember that now. 0.300, and I believe it was plus 5, minus 5. Oh, I don't know what I typed there. Plus 5. Let's see, it populated minus 5. Okay. So it measures 29449. It's supposed to be 300. I got 5, so it can be 295. Well, it's 5/10, a little more than 5/10, too shallow. So in this method, we use the little tolerance block that's inside of some of these measurement routines. And the distance one, I use tolerance last element. Either way is fine, because ultimately you want to create some things so that when you run an Excel report, you can quickly look down and see if there's any red, it's a bad part. If it's in all green, it's a good part. If it is red, and you look and you're like, oh man, that's only that's only 5/10 out of tolerance. Maybe I can get a variance on it, through engineering. So you could send this report with it and circle this and say, yes, it's out, but it's just barely out. Maybe we can get a variance on it. So that's showing you tolerance, and tolerance is very, very useful whenever you're doing production checking. If you're just checking one part and you know what it's supposed to be, you can just read the results right here and figure it out on your own. But if you're doing production checking, a quick visual really shows, or if you got to show your boss or you got to show the customer, you can send a report like this. So I hope that helps you understand how a tolerance, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's nothing rocket science on tolerance and things. Just remember, you get your nominals and your plus minuses right off of your blueprint. Thank you.